We always get to your questions eventually. That's what we do. Now we're doing it. Last week's mailbag today. This episode of Locked On Wolverines.
You are Locked On Wolverines, your daily podcast on the Michigan Wolverines. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday. We are back at Doing It, Locked On Wolverines podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I'm your man on the ground, Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverines Wire through USA Today Sports Media Group. Thank you to all of us, all of you, for making us your first listen. Thank you to all of our everydayers out there. We've got a lot on the docket from last week. We're going to get to it straight up with our leaders and best. Let's start with James Crudup at James Crudup 6. Top 5 recruits that ended up elsewhere that you wish were Wolverines. Can't say Najee Harris. Well, it's Najee Harris. Listen, here's the thing. It's always going to be Najee. Especially because, I was, not close with Najee at all. He claims he didn't remember me in 2019, which was when I saw him at the bowl game. Which was dude, I've talked to you so many times. In person and via DMs and stuff like that. Once he finally got Instagram, he didn't have a Twitter, and that was a whole thing. It's frustrating because I had heard from good sources inside Michigan that they felt like they led for Najee when no one was giving them a chance, and hence me going to California to see him and just kind of keeping in tabs there with him. But yeah. But here's a list of a bunch of guys, more than 5. Number 1, pre me working in this industry, as a matter of fact, it was while I was still in school, it's Terrell Pryor. Think of how much different things could have been if they could have gotten Terrell Pryor. Then A.J. Dillon, the casualty for going after Najee as hard as they did. Think of what the offense could have been with A.J. Dillon there. Same class. A lot of these guys are the same class because, my formative covering, recruiting, and all of that was 2016 class. Mecole Hardman and Jordan Fuller and were a couple of them. Mecole Hardman ended up at Georgia. Michigan had him on an official visit right before, I think it was the I can't remember what game it was. Late in the season, in a big puffy coat. Michigan was in striking distance there. Jordan Fuller ended up going to Ohio State. He was deciding between Michigan and Ohio State, and ended up going to Ohio State, of course. Great kid. I absolutely loved him. I got to spend some time with him down in San Antonio in the 2016 Army All-American Bowl. Cam Akers, 2017 class, someone that Tyrone Wheatley was really going hard after. I can tell you that now, just discussing it with him. As much as we were talking about Najee, he was also constantly being really want Cam Akers. Really want Cam Akers. Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle who ended up going to Alabama. He did visit. It was the big visit with some of those guys Chuck Filiaga and Cesar Ruiz, I think, was there that time. I mean, Cesar was there all the time, but there was a bunch of guys that were, it was oh my goodness. I think Jedrick Wills was there too. He ended up going to Alabama as well. Darnay Holmes was one of my favorite recruits in his cycle. Oh man, he ended up going to UCLA. He would have been a huge get. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, you see it if you're a Detroit Lions fan. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Not necessarily. I mean, it was the talent as well, but he was a satellite camp guy. I was down out there in LA when he traveled from Vegas. His mom being a Michigan alum, and all of that. So, yeah. Josh Barrett Jadek, he finished these sentences. Michigan makes the playoffs if... I think they make the playoff if they don't lose to a team that they have no business losing to. Home or away, I'm making it neutral, as if it's neutral fields. If they don't lose to USC, who, in my opinion, at the moment, Michigan has no business losing to, then, that type of thing. Nebraska, if they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, they're relatively even with Oklahoma, and then obviously there's Ohio State. Everyone else they should beat on paper. Okay? So there's that. Michigan wins the Big Ten championship and it's the same thing for the next one. Michigan wins the national title if, kind of. Bryce Underwood, I don't want to say ahead of schedule, but plays on schedule for his capability in the defense. Looks like it did like in the late season last year. Can't have like the early season type of deal where you require a team to kind of implode a little bit on their own. Like Texas, right? The first drive, Michigan didn't get off the field. They drove the field and they ended up missing a field goal. You just have to look how you did second half Indiana forward. And the offense has to at least be what it's capable of being. It's also going to require some wide receivers stepping up. My brother in metal, Michael Wolf at MWolf21. When will a certain rivals just stop with recruiting trolling? It never works out for them. I know you're talking about Michigan State, Daily, MSU, and all of those people. Apparently a shout out to him. But I don't know. I don't know that they ever will. Right? Like this whole like, oh, we're not even trying and we're ahead of you in the recruiting rankings in like April, May. It's just, they're setting themselves up for disappointment every year. And I think he's just trolling and looking for engagement, but I've seen others that do the same thing. I don't know how much they're trolling and looking for engagement or whatever, but Jonathan Joseph at JJoseph2156. How do you see the quarterback depth chart look for New Mexico with the injuries and the new addition? Hard to say at the moment. I know I've got a bunch of questions about Mikey Keene. I get it every mailbag, but I think that it'll probably be Bryce Underwood, Mikey Keene. We'll go Jake Garcia, Jaden Davis. Maybe Jaden Davis, Jake Garcia. The thing is, Jaden did not look good at all in the spring game, but they're maybe seeing stuff behind the scenes that we're not seeing, right? And then obviously you've got other guys who not other guys, but you got Davis Warren, who's not capable of playing at the moment. Chase Herbstreit, which if he was up higher, that would be a disaster because he's a true freshman who arrived late. Finishing us out in segment 1, Spencer Whitmore at Spencer Whitmore. With the new revenue sharing cap, can players still take on additional NIL contracts, or does it all go through the university? They can still do the NIL contracts. It has to go through the clearinghouse. I don't know a heck of a lot of it. I know like the rivals are going to concern troll the show and be like, is your job to know? I don't care. I know some of you do. Like the way I cover the team is in terms of what do I care about are the things that I learn about a ton. That's just kind of how it works. All right, we have so many more questions. We're going to try to get to as many as we can. We're probably not going to get to them all. I deleted a couple because they were just completely irrelevant. But we are going to get to those, getting to the Victor's Valiant here in just a moment. But before we do ever wish that managing your money felt easier, with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. One of the things that I learned with Monarch Money, doesn't always slow me down, is that I learned how much I spend on food delivery. I got food delivery this morning, though, just because I was craving it. So be it. But you can also learn that, hey, you've been paying for that Planet Fitness gym membership for like 3 years, and you've never even gone there once. That's actually true, because I have a membership elsewhere, which I also don't go to. So there's so many great things about Monarch Money. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com with the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Victor's Valiant, I'm coming for you. Let's do it. Let's try to do it a little quicker. There's always so many here in the second category. Chubbs GB, I talk with Chubbs. Are you surprised Danny Wolf lasted till the 20s, or is that around where you projected him to go? Are we all at all surprised Orlando didn't draft him? LOL. I do think it is funny because like you would expect Orlando to take it, but no, I didn't. As we learned with my snafu on Wolverines Wire, writing about like, yeah, You got Karis LeVert teaming up with Tim Hardaway, and people were like, Tim Hardaway's a free agent, dude. Like, I don't know these things, right? Like that, I know that's the problem with being self-interest, having the self-interest. I don't know what's going on in the NBA at all. Someone's like, do you not even watch the Pistons? And I had just had the pleasure of putting the tweet back at them of watching a Pistons playoff game and saying, as a diehard fan of this 2025 Pistons team, for the last 15 minutes, I'll be devastated if they lose. But no, I don't watch the NBA. Couldn't care less about the NBA at this juncture. So no, I don't have a projection. Great Bambino X at Colossus. So Clout X, rival fans must be feeling sick watching us land recruit after recruit with the hammer imminent, the quote hammer imminent. They were so sure kids would avoid us, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Will they ever realize that the cheating? I know you put it in all caps because you wanted me to say it that way. Wasn't what they hyped it up to be. Here's the thing. They never consider Occam's razor. And I know that there's a question about this later, I think. And I'm going to answer it kind of now, and we'll just give a shout out. But like number one, the Occam's razor of it, the simplest explanation being the likeliest. Maybe it isn't. Maybe the bill of goods you've been sold isn't exactly it, right? Because there's a lot of people. One of them being Kirk Barton was selling you something that there's no way he could know anything about because of what we've talked about. The arm that investigated and seemed to have the vendetta against Michigan, the enforcement arm, is not the one deciding the penalties. There's not the one presiding over it. It's the COI. So none of them have taken a moment to sit there and say, maybe we're being sold a bill of goods. So no, I think they're just going to move on to the next boondoggle, because here's the thing. It's a coping mechanism. If Michigan wins the next 5 against Ohio State, which I do not believe will happen, let me just be clear. Like, you play games for a reason. I'm not saying that can't happen. I don't believe it, right? Like, at some point the streak will come to an end. And, let's just say they win hypothetically the next 5. They will find more reasons to bring in all of this other stuff. They will never come to reality. It's just not what will happen. Clark at Blue for Life. 8, what position battle do you think is most critical heading into summer camp besides QB? Offensive line. I'm not nearly, if you've watched or listened to this show, you know I'm not nearly as down on the offensive line as some of my contemporaries out there in the media. I honestly don't really kind of get why most of them are just like super down on it, personally. Do I think it's going to be elite Joe Moore award winning? No, not necessarily. Can it be? Yeah, it sure can be. But I think offensive line, getting the best 5 out there is critical. Also, wide receiver, just maybe someone coming up that needs to come up. I would say that. I think the defense is mostly fine. I'd like my biggest question on defense is backup cornerbacks, really, essentially. I'm not the one at William Cawthorne 9. Would you say Michigan has one of the best coaching staffs in the country? Too soon to tell, to be honest. If Michigan wins their first 4 games by double digits, what will you say or think about this team? I would think that they are on track to go undefeated if they win if they beat both Oklahoma and Nebraska by double digits. Let me say this. I will take a step to say, like, okay, we got to see how they do at USC. And if they get through that, so like the 5th game, then I think I'll be saying they'll, barring injury or something like that, they'll be undefeated going into the Ohio State game. Who's your statistical leader for each category? Pass yards, Chase Herbstreit, Bryce Underwood, sacks. Give me TJ Guy over Derek Moore. I think there's something special going on with TJ. Interceptions. Even though I would say Rod Moore, I don't know how much of like a learning curve he's going to have to getting back after missing a full year. Give me Jair. Give me Jair Hill. KLob711, what's your score prediction for the first 2 games of the season versus New Mexico and at Oklahoma? Thank you for doing the podcast, and God bless. God bless you as well. New Mexico, I will go 42. No, we need some. we need some field goals, and I also think Michigan will hold some stuff back. Let's instead say, let's say there's going to be a little bit of struggle, not much, but a little bit of struggle, and let's say 40-6. That's what I'm going to go. 40-6 against New Mexico. Oklahoma, I'll give Michigan a 24-17 advantage. That's just where I'm at now. I do think Michigan will win in Norman right now. Would not be surprised if it goes the other way, but I do think that they will. MMOG at Yoder77. Love the podcast, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. What is your realistic win-loss record prediction this year? And who are the losses to, if we have any? I'll say 10-2. And I'll give them, let's see, Nebraska, USC. Nebraska, no Sharon Moore. USC, it's just right. Even though like they should beat USC, it's one of those things where they need to, like, I need to see that this team, not like the 21, 22, or 23 teams. I need to see this team head west in the regular season and win a game. It's hard to do. Penn State, I mean, a lot of teams were up against the ropes. That said, I still think USC is going to take a step back compared to even what it was last year. But, you know, maybe the defense is better. But personnel-wise, I don't know. Generic at ERKJ72. Players on the current roster you think the fan base will be surprised has a breakout year. Thanks for all you do. I'll go with TJ Guy. I just don't think a lot of people are thinking or talking about TJ Guy. The fifth dentist at a smile fixer. How bad is MSU's recruiting outlook? I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's as bad as Michigan fans want to make it sound like it is. So I think that, I mean, I think they'll end up finishing kind of in the same spot that it always finishes in. That's what I think. So like it'll be like a 30th, 25th-ish ranked class, something like that. So yeah. Mike Tinkle at mtink1818. Welcome to the Victor's Valiant. Where does Michigan football stand with 2026 recruits in the state of Michigan? As of now, we don't have a player committed from our home state. I don't expect there to be one. That's that simple. CJ Sadler, I don't think is going to end up in the class. So no, I don't expect there to be one. I don't think there's anyone that Michigan like is enamored with in the home state this cycle. Next cycle, completely different story. Cycle after that, different story. ZT Jones at who_Zach Jones with 3 S's. What makes you most excited about an offense with Chip Lindsey as the OC and play caller? Honestly, just his experience and the fact that we've seen that he can take what he has and make it work with what he has. And the fact that it's been a long time since Michigan's had a play caller who has experience going in, right? Like, because Josh Gaddis, Sharon Moore, the last, and well, Kirk Campbell had experience, but it wasn't good experience. Chip Lindsey has good experience, but the two prior to Kirk Campbell didn't have experience calling plays, and before that, it was still too many cooks in the kitchen. Pep Hamilton, along with Tim Drevno, and different guys calling different plays and stuff like that. I think just having one guy who's got like decades under his belt is going to be huge. Perry Mitchell at Perry Mitchell 08, 2 questions. Where are all the recruits, Isaiah? It's almost July. I know. He said, am I doing this right? Obviously, we're into July now. Number 2, is it realistic to expect Jamar Browder to be the guy next year as a sophomore, supported by this excellent group of 26s, or will they have to spend big in the portal? I think it's not just Jamar Browder. I think they've got a trio in this class that I think is going to be very good. Like, we forget about Andrew Marsh, which was weirdly up until spring ball, the guy everyone was talking about. But I think that, again, wide receivers, I expect them in year 2 to be good. Will they go to the portal? I mean, they might still go to the portal, but I also think it depends on if they close out this class with Travis Johnson, Calvin Russell. Maybe they try to promote one of the 4 in this class to be a guy like, probably more Travis Johnson. I think Calvin Russell's, from everything I've seen and read about him, he's even as like a 5-star, according to one of the recruiting services, it does require some development. So there's that. Nunya Biz at U of M fan _ for life. Lowe's, Home Depot, or Menards? Home Depot. I mean, I think I like Lowe's the best, but there's a Home Depot like down the road for me, so I go there. What's your surprise of the Big Ten this year? I think my surprise would be Illinois. I think Illinois is going to surprise people. I've said that before. Others don't believe me, but whatever. Jacob Heminger at Heminger Jacob, with the way things are trending now with some key offensive recruiting pickups, do you think Michigan has a chance to land a better class on the offensive side of the ball than Ohio State? And if so, do you think you think the Buckeyes will take it? I personally think they'll handle it fine. LOL. I think that they might end up finishing better overall, strictly because of quarterback. Right now, Ohio State's trending for a 3-star quarterback in the class, which is kind of shocking. I mean, obviously, they've got the wide receiver talent. They've got 5-star wide receivers. Michigan's trending along with Tennessee with Savion Hyder. If they get Calvin Russell, I think yes. But I think it's going to be kind of a wash because, again, they've got some really good players still. And I just think that they'll act like none of these guys would play at Ohio State. That's just what they're going to do. Finishing us out in segment 2, the Rican Raider at Hamstand 87. Play hypothetical if Michigan beats TCU but loses the Natty to Georgia. Does 2023 unfold the way it does? Also grab Zuri's snoot for me. I will do that when she's actually not in the room at the moment. I don't know. I think it could have, because I think there still would have been like jobs not finished type of mentality. Like, we got this close. Blake Corum would probably come back. Some of the other guys would have come back type of thing. I don't know that they would have been as angry. Maybe they would have, but yeah, I think hypothetically it probably would have played out the same. Just because same result, ultimately just a game further. All right, we've got plenty more coming up in the Blue Crew. We are going to get to them here in just a moment. All right, we have about, I'm looking at the camera, and I still have to squint even with the glasses on, 7.5 minutes total remaining in the show. For those who were wondering, and actually with this in mind, because he asked me this, happy birthday to Ben Pfizer. I'm excited to celebrate for you from afar by going to see F1 for a second time. But it's not a battery scenario why we have to cap this at 30 minutes. Number one, we're not supposed to, like, the show is not supposed to go over 30 minutes. 2, this battery, the camera itself has a runtime of 30 minutes. When I have the other two, they have a runtime of an hour. So there's that. Bailey Douglas at B96 Douglas 12. Love the pod, Isaiah. I'm an everyday listener. Appreciate that very much. The question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being 100% confident, how likely is that Sharon Moore coaches Michigan football for the next 10 plus years? That's a long time to say, and it's going to require a lot of different things. So I'd say 5. I'm not confident, but I'm not right. Like, I don't think that he'll leave for another program, even Oklahoma. So it's just going to be dependent on his results, also, essentially, which is also dependent on other teams around him. Hayden Brooks at Hayden B 554-53176 has a similar question to Gary Moore at GDog4UM7, who's normally up in the Victor's Valiant. Says, good afternoon, sir. Frequent flyer question here, but I was curious if you were able to share any update on Keene or Moore's injury status regarding fall camp. Thank you for battling the elements through the early summer games and late fall games for us. God bless and go blue. God bless you as well. And then Gary Moore says, any update on Mikey Keene's injury? No. Chris Ballas, I believe, said that he's still kind of working his way back. But I don't know. We're in the summer conditioning, so Michigan basically made it sound like, oh, he's throwing, he's good, but they're, about all we're going to get. Bacchus Duo at Bacchus Duo. What's sparking the sudden interest from top wide receivers in joining Michigan? Bryce Underwood, the new offensive coordinator, or financial incentives? Probably a little bit of all, but I just think it's more voracious recruiting. The idea that they need wide receivers, right? You just can't just keep rolling with guys who are all projects and I think it's also a change in philosophy of getting the bigger, taller wide receiver. I mean, I think everything helps. I think it's more of what I just said than anything. Trevor at T_Buffalo27. Do you think Michigan's recent recruiting success is any indication of what the NCAA plans on ruling? Seems like a strong class like they might be having, and might be an indication future penalties may not be severe. The only people who have been sitting there trying to tout this line that it's going to be like this crazy severe scenario are rivals. Like we've been telling you all along. Not generally, like I do have some intel there, having talked to some, like, let me say this. And I know people that hate the show hate when I put it this way. But one person told me that if they told you like that they expect to emerge from this, that it would be like, you know, and I'm just getting blown up here. By the way, the glasses put audio in my ear, so every time I get texts and stuff, it's like it's distracting. But I can see the screen now. But if this one person, if they told you, you'd be like, oh, we're good. They know it's not Connor Stallions. So that's where I'm at. Another one, should Michigan and Ohio State move to a primary versus primary uniform matchup like USC and UCLA? Yes, I've long advocated for that. Mama Wolverine, Ed, at Bartho81735. How many recruits are we landing in the next week or so? Well, you were asking that last week. I would put I don't know for sure, right? But I would put the over-under at 2.5 right now. That's what I would put it at. I'm looking at, you know, like right now they've got Travis Johnson, Dorian Barney, Calvin Russell, Celeste Moa, John Turntine are all the ones who are deciding in the coming days. So, Jerron Snavely at Jerron Snavely, this recruiting class is coming together. What are the odds we will keep them? We see kids committing and decommitting and choosing other schools often these days. I feel like they'll probably keep all of them. Maybe there's like one or two, I don't know who, that could defect, but I think that they'll keep most of them, if not all. Brad G at Brad Go Blue 85. Why isn't Mike Hart coaching anywhere? I have no idea, to be honest. Josh Hunger at Hunger Josh. Which of the big targets, Russell, Turntine, Hyder, Oho, do you think is going to commit to Michigan? At the moment, I would say Russell and Hyder are the two. He had Meadows in there, and he obviously committed on Sunday. Yankee Wolverine at Team 147, Team 146, Go Blue. Any chance you can run down the list of 2026 recruits who have announced their decision dates? I wanted to mark my calendar. They're coming fast and furious to keep up. I'll be listening one way or another. Thanks. Obviously, this was supposed to be last week, but we've got July 4th has Travis Johnson at noon, John Turntine later, Dorian Barney and Calvin Russell on the 5th. Savion Hyder hasn't announced a date yet, but he's going to do one soon. Colin Gross at CP Gross. Should Michigan State abandon football and give all their rev share and NIL to basketball? That would probably be fine. I don't have a real good answer for that. I don't know. What are we doing? We're going to do 3 more, okay? Wolverine Warrior, Wolverine Champ 1. Is Michigan going to start flexing their muscles during recruiting with NIL and rev sharing? Followed recruiting for a while, but this class is starting to feel special. I mean, they are doing that. Victor at VW_Chen. Is the wing defense improvements seen in the last 2 games of the season legit? Will it continue this season? I think it will, but it's hard to really tell. Sean at Darshan_Nash. How big do you see our class getting for 2026? And I think I've got time for 2 more. I'm looking around 27. That's what I'm guessing. About 27. We'll finish out with Mish Lazarus at Lazarus Mish. After Broding Jennings, there you go. Actually, that's one that could flip. Inevitably decommits. How many corners will we take and who will they be? Will they get, Devon Benjamin? Maybe. Dorian Barney? Probably. Will they look for another? I don't know. I would say they'll try to work those 2 and then go from there kind of regardless. I'll do one more. Josh Molnar at Josh Molnar. Probability on Hyder committing to Michigan. I'd say it's probably around 60%. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll be back on the 4th of July. Appreciate you. Peace.